your ID on you, or did you leave it?
Okay.
Do you mind if I just grab your wallet? I'll just grab the ID.
Just make it official.
Okay, so I have some of your information here. A couple questions. Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Current height and weight?
No, 5'11", and 150.
Color of your eyes?
Blue.
Do you have any scars, marks, or tattoos?
Yes, ma'am. Tattoo.
What is it?
It's right on my ribcage.
Okay, so left side.
Meat tag. What is it?
It's my son's footprints, name, and his birthday.
What's your current address?
599 Pepper Drive, apartment B.
Apartment B.
Yes, ma'am.
Edgewater Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
Hanford.
Yes, ma'am. No, that's changing Monday.
Oh, okay.
Does that make a difference?
Where will you be moving?
2699 Baton Road, and it's on base.
Sick of the apartment?
No, it's a house on base.
No, I'm saying you're sick of living in the apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Current phone number?
706-844-3635.
Okay, what kind of vehicle do you drive?
2010 Jeep Patriot.
What color?
Green.
Do you know the tags?
No.
Are they California?
No, they're Georgia.
Okay. And your home address of record?
I think, I don't know, it used to, oh goodness. I think it's still 1870 East Hermitage Road.
Hermitage Road.
Yes, ma'am. That's Rome, Georgia, 30161.
Okay, highest level of education?
High school.
Where was that at?
Rome.
What's the name of it?
Model High School.
Okay. And your wife is Melissa?
Yes, ma'am.
What's her contact information?
676-3996.
Okay. She lives with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said you had a son?
Yes, ma'am.
What's his name?
Raiden, Raiden.
Okay. Does he live with you as well?
No, he lives in Georgia.
Okay.
As in Mortal Kombat?
No, sir.
Oh, what's the significance of that name?
It's almost gaming as WoW. Like you call it raiding, like it's massive multi-online player game.
Oh.
And like has dungeons and stuff like that. Like 20 to anywhere from like 10 to 20 players have to go in at once.
Okay.
So that's just what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hold that. Now, before we discuss anything further in here, I do have to read you something. I don't know if you've ever gone through this process before, but I know your command has discussed this issue with you on more than one occasion. So I'm going to read to you.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
They didn't brief you or talk to you at all?
The last thing I actually heard was Monday, and they called me up to the office and told me that this was over, that it was completely done, and then they called me up there yesterday and been like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, we apologize."
They were just confused. I mean, we can't possibly close an investigation without talking to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
But no, actually nobody really knew what was going on, so I've been kind of just wondering what was going on.
Okay, well, I knew they had some contact with you. I didn't know what they said to you, so I have to read you your military suspects' rights, but I'm going to also do a cleanser just because, like I said, I don't know what they've asked you or what they said to you. So I'm going to read this to you. If you have any questions, you can stop me at any point in time. Currently in Israel, California. It's the 19th of April, 2012. You, Joseph Allen Sexton, have been advised by myself, Special Agent Stephanie Bocchino, that you are suspected of Article 120 rape. You have also been advised that at any prior illegal admissions or other improperly obtained evidence which incriminated me cannot be used against me in a trial by court-martial. You have the right to remain silent and make no statement at all. Any statement you do make can be used against you in a trial by court-martial or other judicial or administrative proceeding. You have the right to consult with a lawyer prior to any questioning. This lawyer may be a civilian lawyer retained by yourself at no cost to the United States, a military lawyer appointed to act as your counsel at no cost to you or both. You have the right to have your retained civilian lawyer and or appointed military lawyer present during this interview, and you may terminate this interview at any point for any reason, anytime. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. If you can just initial before and after each of these lines.
You go by Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, I saw the alarm in your eyes when she said rape. Don't let that bother you, brother, because we have to ask questions about what happened.
Now I'm starting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things we're going to be talking about, okay? Don't let that freak you out.
You can do after right there, and then put each number, each line. Okay, and can we read this paragraph out loud?
I understand my rights as related to me and as set forth above. With that understanding, I have decided that I do not desire to remain silent, consult with a retained or appointed lawyer, or have a lawyer present at this time. I made this decision freely and voluntarily. No threats or promises have been made to me.
Before you sign, just initial before and after. And again, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. You can sign, it's 19 April and it's 13/11. Okay. So obviously you know why we're here, why we want to talk to you. What is your relationship with Lakin Cruisers?
I have no relationship. Like, I only met her one time.
Okay.
And it was that day. It was.
What day? When did you meet her?
Well, when we went to El Centro, I was a driver of one of the vans, and I thought it was just going to be me and the other girl that rode with us, Rodemacher. And then I guess they didn't have no space, and she ended up riding down with us El Centro. And then after that, like, I didn't speak to her until the day that they wanted us, that A1 Norris wanted me to go out and drink with them, because they were trying to get me to, like, open up a little bit, because most of the time it's pretty quiet, I don't really say much. So they wanted me to go out and drink, and that was the first time or the second time I had met her.
Okay. What happened that evening? Who went out with you?
A1 Norris, Rodemacher, Senior McCrane, I think Coleman, I think Oldham went out with us. I think that's all.
And where'd you guys go?
To this little bar on base.
What's it called?
I don't remember the names, like the Oasis or something.
Okay. What time did you arrive there?
I think we went there around 10 or 11.
10 or 11?
Yeah.
At
was, yes, ma'am.
Okay, how long were you there for?
I think we were there for about an hour, hour and a half.
Okay, so then what time did you get back to?
I think it was around like 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Okay. Did you share a room with somebody?
Yes. Dang, I know his face, but I can't remember what his name was. I don't remember what his name was.
Okay, was he out with you?
No, I don't think I don't remember him going with us.
Okay, was he in the room when you got back? Or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, was he awake?
I think as far as I know, he was asleep.
Okay. Prior to going out, had you had anything to drink?
Yes, before we went to the that bar, they were already outside drinking outside the barracks or hotel, whatever it
Okay, who's they?
is. And when Norris was there, and when Gonzalez was there, because he was right beside, but he didn't go with us to the bar. Oldham was there. I think Robert Walker was there.
Okay. What were you drinking?
At that time, just beer. I think he had like Bud Light or something like that.
Okay, how many beers did you have?
I think at that time, like maybe 4.
4. Okay. How long had you been drinking before you went to the bar?
Maybe like 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. So you had 4 beers in a half hour to...
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a lot for you?
Kind of, because I normally don't drink.
Okay. Had you had anything to eat that night?
I don't think so. I might have, but I don't think I had anything.
Okay. At what point in time did Caruthers meet up with you?
When we started to leave, I think she ended up finally coming down there. And we started heading towards the bar.
Okay. And you said it was about 11:30? Or?
I think it was around like 10, 11 o'clock.
10. Okay. Did you look at your watch?
No, I don't wear a watch. So.
Okay. And you're just guessing 10?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
And when you got to the bar, what happened?
We just all kind of sat at the bar. There was only like one bartender there. And then all of them, like Edwin Norris, Rodemacher, Seymour Crane, were on like the right side of the bar, kind of shaped around an L. And me and her were on the left side because there were like some other guys sitting in the middle. And then at that point, Seymour Crane like bought everyone like whatever they wanted, just like one drink.
Mm-hmm.
And me and her were like talking back and forth. And those guys eventually ended up like getting up and leaving, and we walked back around to the group.
Mm-hmm.
We were just kind of standing in the group.
Okay. How did you guys end up on that side?
On the left side?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we were all kind of trying to stay up at the bar since that's where the bartender was.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else was kind of grouped on this side, so there wasn't much room. So we ended up on the left side.
What were you talking about with her?
She asked me where I was from, just what I did for like a job, and told her about my wife, my son. Just, I guess kind of basic conversation.
Okay. And that was the first conversation?
That was, yeah.
Okay. How much did you drink at the bar?
I think like 2 or 3 beers.
Okay, just beers? Is that all you had that night?
As far as I remember.
Do you not recall?
Yeah, I don't really recall too much.
Okay. Would you say that you were drunk?
Probably, yes, ma'am, for like me, for not drinking much and taking in that much alcohol in like a short amount of time, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you said that you were talking to her and the individuals who were separating the group moved and you walked back over?
Yes,
And then what happened?
we just continued talking. Like I was talking to Senior McCrane, AM1, just back and forth. And they were all kind of ready to go, and we went back.
Okay. What was the cruisers doing at this time when you were talking to everybody else?
She was sitting in a chair, like right in front of me, just chilling.
Was she talking to anyone?
I know of. Like I was talking, AM1 was behind me, Rodemacher was behind me, so I was kind of turned around at some points, and then Senior McCrane, I remember he was on this side, so it was kind of back and forth. So she might have been talking to one of them or something while I was talking to him or something.
Okay. What were you talking about with Senior McCrane?
Well, they were all just kind of picking on me about like never talking around like the workplace or anything like that, never joking. So they were kind of picking on me with that, and we're just kind of going back and forth.
Okay. And then you said you guys eventually left after an hour and a half?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did everybody leave or did...
Well, some of them that went with us, I think Oldham, Coleman, they ended up leaving, I think, like a few minutes after we got there because they went out into town because they didn't really like the bar. And since it was taking so long to get drinks, I think they ended up going out in town to some bars. But then the rest of us just left.
How many people had left the bar then when you did?
When I did, I guess maybe like 4 or 5 people.
Okay. Did Carruthers leave with you?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you guys all walked in the same general direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who were you walking with when you left?
I was walking with her. Me and her were kind of like ahead of the rest of them.
Okay. Were you guys talking?
Yes, ma'am, I think so.
Okay. Do you remember what you were talking about?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Okay. Did you guys have any physical contact when you were walking back?
Yes, ma'am. On the way back, we ended up holding hands on the way back.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
No, ma'am, not that I know of.
Okay. Did you guys hold hands or do anything back at the bar?
No, ma'am, not that I recall.
Okay. So you're walking back. How far is the walk?
Maybe like 100 yards or so. It wasn't that far.
Okay.
Football field.
And you were holding her hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where did you go when you got back to her?
When we got back, we went to my room and went into my room.
Okay. She came with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said your roommate was...
I'm not sure the lights were out and he was asleep. He might have been just like going to sleep at that point in time, so he might have still been a little awake.
Okay. And what happened when you got back to your room?
When we actually went into the room, that's when it started getting a little bit more involved. We started kissing, I think, a little bit, and I started to remove her shirt and things like that.
Okay. And what happened from there?
We ended up on the bed, and I was kind of on top of her, and at that point in time, we were still just like kissing, and I was still kind of just touching her, and I think at some point in time we were kind of talking back and forth, and we ended up kind of stopping for a second because she kept saying something, and I ended up saying like something like, we're going to regret this in the morning, we shouldn't do this. We ended up at that point in time kind of talking back and forth. I don't really remember the conversation too much. I remember like saying that this kind of needed to stop. And at that point in time, it just kind of stopped. I got up and I went to the bathroom because I started to feel sick and I started throwing up. And I was in the bathroom for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I came back, and at that point in time, she was passed out. So I just laid down and went to sleep.
Okay, you said you were touching her. Where were you touching her?
Stomach, breast.
Okay, did you ever touch her vagina?
No, ma'am, not that I remember.
What was she wearing?
I think she was wearing some jeans and a shirt, like
Okay.
a short sleeve shirt. I think.
You said you started removing her shirt, but at that point in time, how much of her clothing did you remove?
At that point in time, I know she. Let's see. I took her shirt off, and she removed her pants because she had like sandals on. I couldn't figure out how to like take the sandals off, so I know she removed her pants, and I think her underwear might have been removed. I'm not sure. But that's about as far as I know.
Okay, so you took her shirt off. She took her pants off, possibly her underwear. What about her bra?
Yes, ma'am. I think it had been took off. I think it might have just been like up halfway on or like pushed up.
Okay, but you unhooked it?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I think so.
Okay, and what were you wearing? Or not wearing?
I was wearing some gray sweatpants and then a t-shirt.
Okay, and did that all come off?
No, ma'am. The shirt did, but I think I still have the pants and my underwear and stuff on.
Okay, so at no point in time did the bottom of your
No.
clothing ever come down?
No, not that I recall.
Okay. So you're kissing on her, you're on top of her,
Yes, ma'am.
and you were touching her.
Yes, ma'am.
But at no point in time did you ever touch her vagina or...
No, ma'am. I don't think so. Not that I recall.
Okay. You got up and you went to the bathroom and you threw up,
Yes, ma'am.
and you came back and she was passed out.
Yes, ma'am.
What was she wearing when she passed out?
I think she still had the shirt on and the bra, because I think it was just pushed up. And I think she might have still had her underwear on.
Okay.
And that's all.
I thought you said you removed her shirt.
No, I think her shirt and bra was still like on. Or I'm not sure.
Joe, she has big breasts, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Like unusually big.
Yeah.
I would think. I know you're a little bit drunk, but I would think that you would remember if you saw her breasts exposed or not.
Well, no, I mean, I know I did, like, I know the bra was not on her breast or anything like that. I know that, but I mean, like, what I'm talking about is like...
All the way off.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was all the way off, if I just pulled her shirt up to like, that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't, I'm not talking about it was still on or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, her breast was exposed.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I did remove the shirt completely or if it was just like kind of pushed up to her neck. That's what I mean.
Okay. Did you remove your shirt or did she remove your shirt?
I'm not sure. It might have been either one of us. I might have took it off. I'm not 100% positive.
Okay. And this was all occurring while your roommate was
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the room?
Yes, ma'am.
At any point in time did he move or...
I'm not sure. I wasn't really like paying attention to him. So.
Okay. What kind of conversation, I know you said you don't really remember, did you have between her? What was she saying to you?
I think she was telling me that she was married or involved with someone, and at that point in time, I was kind of like, this probably shouldn't go any further, and I was like, we're both. I figured since she was telling me that she would probably like end up like regretting something or doing something. So at that point in time, I was like, this shouldn't go any further than what it has. It should stop now. And I was like, I don't need you to wake up or in the morning and be like, something happened or anything like that. So at that point in time, it just stopped. And then, like I said, I got up, I was feeling sick. I went to the bathroom. I was probably in there for like 10 or 15 minutes. And then I came back in and she was already like asleep.
Mm-hmm. But you knew she was married.
She might have told me before while we were at the bar.
Didn't Senior McCrane say, hey, be careful, she's married and she had a ring on?
I'm not really too sure. Like, after being that intoxicated, I wasn't really too sure like what anybody was saying. I mean, he like afterwards, because I spoke to him afterwards, and I mean, he told me he said that, but like I don't really remember too much of what anybody said that night.
I mean, earlier you remember the conversation you had with him though, when you moved over.
Well, I mean, I know they were like picking on me because that's what they were doing the whole night. That was like, because that was the purpose in going out that night. Because most of I mean, like I would never have went out with them for any other reason. Except for one's like, no, you're going out with us tonight. I'm like, okay.
So you don't remember him telling you, pointing to her ring, and then even pointing to yours?
No.
And the comment that you made?
No.
Indicating you only mess with married women?
But you told the senior chief that you only mess with married women.
Yeah, I remember saying that, but I think that was like afterwards. I don't think that was during that time.
Like the next day afterwards?
Yeah, like the next day, because I know, because like when I went in the next day, I didn't have any clue that like she went and said anything or anything like that. I just went into work, and when I went in, like there was a smoke pit outside the hangar, and AM1 was standing out there at, when I walked in. But before I went in, I talked with him. And then I think I remember like when I went into the little airframe shop, I mean, I think Sarah McCrane might have come in after that, but I don't remember him saying that to me, like, or me telling him that night.
So what did he say to you in the hangar then?
Well, like I ended up talking with him because like they just asked me like how everything went or whatever. Because I think he asked me, I think he was like, did she go back to your room? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, but nothing happened. I was like, it did get, I told him it got like a little bit heated, but I was like, I stopped it. And that was like the same thing I told AM1 out in the smoke pit.
And your wife, right?
Well, I told my wife later that night.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I talked with him afterwards, but I don't remember him telling me that night.
Do you remember telling him that you only mess with married women?
I don't remember. I remember telling. I thought I told AM1 that, but I guess it might have been him.
Why would you even say that?
How many times have you cheated on your wife? Let's start there.
This is the first time I've only cheated on my wife, but my ex-wife, that's why we're divorced, is because I cheated on her.
With your current wife?
No, this was like before I was already divorced before I met my current wife.
Okay. How many times did you cheat on your first wife?
Twice.
Twice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're telling me you cheated on your first wife twice, and now you're with this other female who's not your wife in your barracks room. She's half naked, if not almost completely naked, and you stop it.
Yes, ma'am.
Being a 25-year-old Marine.
Yes, ma'am.
Drinking.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't have sex with her whatsoever.
No, ma'am.
No vaginal penetration.
No, ma'am.
She didn't orally cup you or
No, ma'am.
even remove your pants.
No, ma'am.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but Caruthers went the next day to the hospital and a sexual assault kit was collected, an exam was done, and there is evidence that there was penetration. So she was only in your room last night, or that night.
Mm-hmm.
You even admit that she was there. She was naked in your bed. She was sleeping there. You woke up the next morning to her there. She did not leave.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you explain how there's evidence of penetration if you do not have sex with her?
I might have like stuck my fingers or something. I mean, like I said, I don't recall much of that night. I'm trying to be as honest. I mean, I know that like, you know, I can get in trouble, but I'm trying to be as honest as I can. You know, I'm not trying to like hide anything.
This is my theory on what happened. The whole night she was giving you yes, yes, yes signals. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You're both drinking. Excuse me a second. You're both drinking. Obviously, you both agree that she's going back to your room. You probably have a pretty good indication of what's going to happen when you get back to the room, right?
Yes.
How long have you been married now to your current wife?
Like 9 months.
Okay. So you have a pretty clear picture of what's going to happen when you get there. Have you ever been in a situation, I know I was in a few myself, where you're laying in bed with a girl and she starts talking about, oh, I'm married, or I have a boyfriend, or whatever. And it's kind of like a game, you know what I mean? Like, from my experience, girls have this way of kind of playing a game about it. She's not putting her hand on your chest and pushing you away and say, hey, stop, I'm married. It's nothing like that. You're feeling her up, you're feeling her breast, you're kissing her neck, whatever the case is, and she's like, in a playful kind of way, I'm married, I'm in a relationship. That's the way I believe it probably happened that night. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
That's a defense mechanism for her as a female. I'm a dude just like you. I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years. I'm a knuckle dragger too, brother. But I understand, if I understand females at all, I understand that for some women to be a defense mechanism. It's a get out of jail free card for guilt, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because they told you and you kept on. They didn't actively fight you, but just the fact that they told you that they were married and you kept on gives them kind of an out, you know what I mean? For when they do sleep with you, it makes more sense in their mind, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I told him I was married, I tried to stop it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality of it is she let you keep on going after that. Yeah, you might have stopped and talked, but she wasn't pushing you off. She didn't leave the room, you know what I mean?
Right.
She knew what was going to happen.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, she wouldn't have been there. She would have grabbed her shit and she would have left. And she would have called you an asshole the next morning, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
She knew what was going to happen. She wanted it to happen, clearly. She's drinking with you. She's doing all these things. It's yes, yes, yes. Now, the only reason, yeah, you stopped, maybe you stopped for a few seconds to discuss it, and maybe you had a little guilt going on, I don't know, or fear that you might get caught by your wife. Were you
Yes,
feeling any of those things?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You'd already been through this once. You lost one marriage over it.
Yes, sir.
And your roommate's in there, the unit, everybody in the unit. Tomorrow, everybody in the unit's going to know that you were drinking and flirting with her. Probably everybody in the unit's going to know that you went back. She went back to your room, right? I mean, you can't hold secrets while you're on debt like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, I don't doubt that you got up to vomit, because you don't strike me as a big drinker. You played football in high school, yeah?
No, sir.
No? Okay.
I've always been very silent. Like, around like the high school era, like I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I just kind of kept to myself and didn't really talk to anybody or bother anybody.
Okay.
You played a lot of video games.
Yeah, that's play a lot of video games.
Okay. So here you are. You're buzzed at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're playing with these incredible breasts, right? 1 in 100. You know, I mean, this is not the average set of breasts we're talking about here. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
better than average. And we can talk about whatever we want. Don't feel ashamed talking like this in front of staff. She gives way more shit than like this. I know you're from the South and you're not accustomed to talking like this in front of a chick probably, but so this is above average set of breast. Here you are, you're a little bit drunk. When did your wife have the kid? Your son? They're not the current wife, but how old is your son now?
My son's 3.
Okay. How about your current wife? Is she pregnant? No
Yes.
kids? She is pregnant? When did she get pregnant, approximately?
7, she's 7 weeks.
Now?
Yes.
Oh, so after you got back?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, but this is important to help me understand the situation. How was your sex life prior to going to El Centro with your current wife?
Before?
Yeah.
I mean, it was good.
Okay.
Every day.
All right. Maybe once in a while skip a day or
Yeah.
4 or 5 times a week at least.
Yeah.
So better than average.
Yes.
All right. So you're kind of used to that pace, and here you are going on debt for a month, right?
Yes.
How long had you been going once this incident occurred with?
I think like 2 weeks. I think it had been because we left on the 28th.
Did you see your wife after you left? Did you see your wife in between leaving for El Centro and this night?
On Skype.
Okay.
Like not physically.
Right. And having a roommate is not the easiest thing to masturbate. Would you agree with that? Probably.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of difficult because where's he going to go? You know what I mean?
Right.
I assume since he didn't go out anywhere that night, he's kind of a homebody.
Yes, sir.
So he's probably there every single evening. There's
Yes.
absolutely zero privacy in the barracks room, I would assume.
Yes.
So you're not going to be sitting around jerking off, right? All right. So it'd been a couple weeks. You're used to almost every day sex, yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right. You couple that with a few drinks, which you're not accustomed to having. You're ready to get laid, truthfully. Truth be known, yeah. So you have this mini conversation about, I don't think it was exactly as aggressive as you. I think you're kind of playing the conversation up a bit. I think it was more of a kind of a joking kind of conversation about her being in a relationship and stopping. I seriously doubt that you came out and said, well, we better stop then. If you did say that, it was more in a joking way to play along with her game. Am I right? I've been doing this a long time, brother, and that makes sense to me. I mean, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to understand what the conversation was. Is that accurate?
To me, that's like about the only thing I remember. So, I know I remember stopping. Like I can't remember too much of what happened before, but I know that I remember stopping. And I know that like I hadn't like come or anything like that, so that's why like when I say I can't remember, like I don't remember if I did anything vaginally because I know I didn't like come or anything like that. So I mean that's why I think that nothing like that happened. And I mean like I said, I remember getting up and like going to the restroom and like vomiting and then coming back, and I know she was asleep at that point in time.
How did you sleep when you came back to bed?
Well, I just kind of got on like whatever was left of the bed and just kind of tried to crawl up and go to sleep the best I could.
How was she
I
sleeping?
ended up like, she was just kind of like sprawled out a little bit.
On her back?
Yeah.
Okay. And the covers were not over her bottom half, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But you don't remember whether or not she had her underwear on?
She didn't. I could see it in your
Yeah,
face
she
a little while
did.
ago.
I guess so.
No, I think you know she didn't, right? When we talked about that earlier, I just felt like you knew that she had gotten rid of her panties earlier.
Why is she going to take her pants off but leave her underwear on?
Yeah.
At any point in time in the night, when you got back to your room, did she go to your restroom?
I don't think so. think she did, because all I remember is us kissing and going to the bed. So I don't think she did.
So was it instantaneous, kind of like walking in the door?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you were kissing and you were on top of her, and she's pretty much naked, whether or not her shirt's off or not.
Yes, ma'am.
But she's completely exposed. Your shirt's off, your pants are off, your underwear's off.
No. I don't think my pants were off.
They pulled down.
They might have been.
Did you have an erection?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember.
That's right.
Yeah, yes.
Definitely, right?
Yes.
It had been a long time since you've been late. So after you puke or come back from the bathroom, and there's enough light in there that you can see where she's at, and, you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you come back, her naked bottom half is completely exposed, and she's kind of sprawled out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this goes back to like a human nature kind of thing. You're a dude, she's a chick, you haven't been late in a while. You come back from the bathroom, there she is, like spread eagle, you know what I mean? Naked from the waist down, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Had already indicated she wanted to have sex with you, was talking to you all night, gave you all the signs, removed her own pants, pretty much said, I'm good to go with this.
Here's my point: is you're not in trouble if you had sex with that girl tonight, that night. Here's the worst mistake that people make in your shoes. I'll be honest with you. I've worked like 100 of these type cases. The worst mistake anybody can make, like human nature, or a lot of people, you're in defense mode right now. Yeah. I mean, don't you feel a little under the gun, like you're being accused of something here, or you might be in trouble?
Kind of.
Human nature, when you're being accused of rape, is to say, I didn't have sex at all. We didn't have sex, you know what I mean? But that's the worst mistake you could possibly make.
We already know you had sex with her.
Yeah, from what I know, forensically speaking, you did have sex with her that night. So we don't want you to make a mistake of saying we didn't have sex.
Actually, that's seriously like the one part that I can't remember. I've been trying to like just because like I felt so bad. Because all this stuff's come up, that's the one part that in my mind, like every day, like I try to like remember if I did or not. I mean, like I know things like happened, and I mean I remember like her being naked, and I mean I remember getting up, but like I don't remember like if I just touched her or if we did actually have sex. I don't like I really don't.
That's the problem I have with the story is, even if you're really drunk, if you remember getting up and going to the bathroom, you would remember having sex because it's a very significant event.
And that's why like I thought like that's why I remember stopping, and that's why I thought I like stopped at that point. So that's why I'm not sure.
I believe what you're saying up until the point you went to the restroom. It's after you got back from the restroom that I have an issue with. I think after you got back from the restroom, she'd given you all these signs, yes. It was just too tempting. You had sex with her after you got back from the bathroom. That's what I believe happened.
If I would have had sex with her, it would have been before. It would have definitely been before I would have got up. Only because it would just, I mean, like that would be really weird.
What would be really weird?
Passed out, no, like involvement or anything. That would. Would if I had sex with her, it would have been before I went to the bathroom. Because after, I passed out, like I was tired, I had to get up for PT. So if some involvement happened, which did, I guess, from the evidence, it would have been before. It would have been while we were still both awake.
Where do you put the condom wrapper?
I don't have any condoms.
You didn't use a condom?
No.
So you didn't go to the bathroom to flush down the toilet?
I've never used condoms.
Ever? In your entire life?
No. Well, I mean, I have, but like my first wife didn't really like them, and then my second wife never has liked them. So we haven't ever used any protection. I mean, even before, like when we weren't married, we didn't use any protection.
Okay. So when you got up to go to the bathroom, were you cleaning up after yourself?
No, I mean, I remember getting up and just going and throwing up, and then coming back and trying to lay down and just go to sleep.
So you weren't too drunk to get an erection, right? Because you had an erection. But you were too drunk to ejaculate?
It wasn't really on my mind after everything after everything stopped, it wasn't necessarily the first thing on my mind.
When you say everything stopped, were you in the middle of having sex with her and you stopped and you got off and went to the bathroom?
Well, no, like when we started talking, everything kind of stopped, and like I was just like sitting on top, like laying on top of her, and we started talking back and forth, and like the conversation went, and then it stopped, like everything stopped at that point in time, and I got up and I went into the bathroom, and then I threw up, and then I came back. I put my clothes back on, and I might have like covered her up, or I might not have. She might have, I'm not sure.
Okay, you remember getting dressed, you remember coming back from the bathroom, getting back in the bed, trying to find room, but you don't remember if you covered her up?
I think I did, because I think she was laying there kind of sprawled out. I was like, I should probably cover her up.
It's just a little weird how you remember everything that you did and everything according to you, but you don't remember touching her or having sex with her.
I said I touched her breast.
I mean, putting the blanket back on her. It's like when we ask questions about her, you don't remember, but if we ask questions about what you did, you remember.
Joe, I think you remember having sex with her. You're just afraid to say it because you think it's going to get you in trouble, which the opposite is actually true. You know, that's my point earlier. Is if she says you had sex and that she was raped, and you say we didn't have sex at all, but there's evidence you had sex, that makes you look guilty. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I mean, why would you deny having sex? You know?
Yes, sir.
You've already been in the room. Your wife already knows you were in there with another female. Knows she was naked in your bed.
So you remember having sex, don't you, Joe? This is not the time to. I don't want you 10 years from now to look back and say, fuck, I was scared that day, I was being talked to. I really fucked up by not saying the truth, you know what I mean? I don't want you to do that because you got a lot riding on this. Your marriage, your career, you know what I mean?
Yes.
GI Bill, your benefits, everything's riding on this. So.
And your roommate, how often do you talk to him?
Like den or outside?
Right now.
Oh, I haven't seen him.
So you have no idea that he woke up in between you guys having sex and reported to us that you guys were in fact having sex.
No, I didn't know he woke up. I don't ever talk to him. I talked to him a little bit in El Centro. I mean, just how was your day or something like that. But I mean, outside of that, I haven't. I work nights, and I think he works days or whatever. I haven't seen him any since.
But do you see what I'm saying? We have an eyewitness and we have DNA evidence, forensic evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
And you remember getting to the room, taking off her clothes, potentially all of them, having this conversation, going to the bathroom, coming back, you getting dressed, but you don't remember having sex with her?
It doesn't make any sense, you know? You remember having sex, don't you, Joe?
If you said you didn't remember going to the bathroom and you remember getting undressed, but you remember having sex, that makes more sense. You're going to remember the sex, you're not going to remember the outlying factors.
Just take a second, Joe. I just want you to think about it long and hard before you give us an answer. Anything you say up until the point you leave this room, we don't give a shit about. You know what I mean? As long as we get the total truth by the time you leave here today. That's all we care about. It's a hard thing to sit there and tell the whole truth, especially if you think you're going to get in trouble for something, you know what I mean?
I mean, you told me that it wouldn't, well, you kind of told me it wouldn't get me in trouble if I tell you, but
Can I share something with you, Joe? I asked you 3 times in the last minute and a half if you remember having sex with that girl, okay? No matter what your mouth was saying, you don't notice it, it's unconscious, but your head was moving up and down just a little bit each time. Your body was telling me yes. You understand what I'm saying? I think it's pretty clear to you. Having sex is a pretty significant event, especially if it's someone new. You know what I mean? You remember things like that. It may not have been good sex. You may not have ejaculated. It may have lasted for 5 seconds. But I know for a fact that you remember having sex because I can see it in your face, brother. Your body is giving it away.
I, I think we might have started. I mean, I think we might have started before, like I got up.
How long were you inside her before you stopped?
Um, it wasn't like, I remember something happening, but I also remember, I don't know how long it might have been, but all I remember really is the conversation. down for a second.
Staying inside her.
Yeah. And then that's at that point in time, that's when we started kind of talking back and forth.
Right.
And then,
As you're talking, you're losing your erection, correct?
right. And then at that point in time, we kept talking, and by the kind of end of the conversation, I wasn't into it anymore. And that's when I got up and I just went to the bathroom, I threw up, and I came back and like I wasn't into it anymore, so I laid down and I went to sleep.
So you do remember having sex with her. That's important.
I think, yes sir,
Your penis was inside her before you had the conversation and during the conversation.
yes sir.
How long of time frame are we talking about here? I know you're drunk. I know you're not looking at your watch because you don't even wear one, but 30 seconds, 5 minutes, what are we talking?
Maybe 3 to 5 minutes at the most.
Okay.
I know it wasn't a long time, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
So can you lead us up until the point when your penis entered her vagina? You were touching her, were you fingering her?
Yeah, I think so. I think I touched her. I think I kind of started off like we were kissing, and I was probably rubbing her breast, and I ended up probably like fingering her like a little bit, and then it kept going, and then I think at some point in time, or I ended up like sticking my penis in her vagina, and I don't remember it being for like long. I mean, like 5 minutes or so, and we ended up having like a conversation, kind of back and forth. And at that point in time, like I wasn't into it anymore, and I ended up getting up and I went and I vomited that one time. Then I ended up getting up again, like 4 or 5, and ended up vomiting again, like right before I had to go to PT because I was like 15 minutes late for PT.
What was she doing to you when you were kissing on her and fingering her?
Just kind of like rubbing my chest and stuff like that.
Okay, she didn't perform anything on you?
No.
Did you remove your pants or did she?
I think they were just pulled like halfway down. Okay. I don't think they were fully removed because I think when I got back up, I ended up like pulling my pants back up and then going in there and like vomiting. I don't think my pants were like complete. I think they were like.
Who pulled the pants down?
I probably did because I think it was while she was taking hers off. I think I pulled mine like halfway down.
Okay. What did she do with the tampon she had in?
I don't know.
You didn't feel it when you're fingering her?
I mean, I might have I was like pretty drunk. I think I remember about to go. I think that's what kind of. I was about to like go down on her.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no, I'm on my period.
Well, no,
right?
I saw it, and I think and it kind of freaked me out.
You saw the string or something?
Yeah, just the string. And I was like, it took me like a second to like realize what it was. I was like, and I was like.
Is this before or after you had sex?
This was like during like when I was like touching her, like before we started having sex.
Right.
I kind of started to go down on her, and then I think I saw it, but I don't really think I thought much of it. for a second, because like I've had sex with my wife, like while she's on her period.
Right.
So I hadn't really like thought much of it.
Right.
Since we were both kind of into it, didn't really.
Right. But you didn't want to go down on her.
Yeah, I didn't.
You're okay with having sex with her, but not going down with her.
Yeah.
But you have sex with a tampon in?
I really don't remember getting up.
Yeah, the only way it could have been removed is if she got up and went to the bathroom. She's not going to just pull it out right there in
Right.
bed, right?
Right.
Did you finger her before or after you started to go down on her?
It would have been before.
So you would have felt it.
It's okay if you didn't feel it. You were drunk, you know?
I don't think I remember feeling it. She might have got up. She might have got up after her pants, because I don't remember. I don't remember her going to the restroom like when we went into the room.
We can come back to that, Joe. Let's move on. Your roommate, here's another problem we have. Your roommate says that he was aware of you two coming home, and you were moving around, and he believes you were having sex at the time. And then he says that you got up and were in the bathroom for a little while, and then you came back and you continued to look like to him that you were having sex, which is okay if that happened. We just need to know because she had already. This was consensual sex, correct? She didn't tell you no. She didn't try to stop you. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
So I know you said when you had the conversation that it kind of killed it for you, right?
Yes, sir.
But then you go to the bathroom and then you come back. So in your mind, I'm thinking maybe you came back and since she had already consented, even though she was kind of asleep or whatever, you continued on. That's what your roommate says, and I find it pretty hard to believe that his story would match every detail of yours, except you're saying you just laid down and went to sleep, but he's saying you continued on for a couple minutes. And, Joe, one thing to keep in mind, it's not like you held this girl down and raped her violently, you know what I mean? We're not talking about that.
I mean, I understand, but
You had consensual sex.
I mean, just like knowing myself, I couldn't really see myself. Like after I got up and I was just completely out of the mood, I couldn't see myself coming back. Like, especially with her like asleep, because that's kind of weirding me out as it is. I couldn't see myself coming back.
I mean, she's already ready to go, right? You had just stopped having sex, so she's already lubricated, ready to go, right? All you got to do is slip it back in, and you're probably thinking, well, she'll wake back up and she'll get right back into it.
No.
Why does that bother you so bad?
Because she's already asleep, and
Okay.
like so, I mean, she's probably not into it anymore or anything like that.
Okay.
And I mean, I guess with sex you want some kind of, I guess, interaction. and her already being asleep kind of.
Kills it for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to you at all.
When you guys started having sex the first time, did you use any lubrication?
Lotion, anything.
No.
Saliva, water, I don't know, anything?
No.
Nothing? It just slipped right in easily? Did you have any issues?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I mean, I know we didn't use any like lubrication or anything.
Was she pretty wet after you were messing around with it?
Yes, sir.
But you do remember seeing a tampon string?
I believe so. And at that point in time, she might have got up, but I don't remember her getting up.
Why do you think she might have gotten up?
Maybe to go take it out or something beforehand.
Do you recall seeing a tampon or anything in your trash can in your bathroom?
I didn't go look.
Or any blood when you went to the bathroom?
When I went and threw up, I wasn't really paying attention. I was just like, I don't really like throwing up, so it wasn't like the first thing on my mind. But I didn't see any blood anywhere.
But you don't recall feeling it when you're fingering her?
No, I don't really recall feeling it. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it. But I don't recall, like, when I was touching her, I don't recall feeling it.
And you didn't feel it when you inserted your penis into her?
No.
Was the sex only vaginal?
Yeah. I mean, she might have, like, after she took her pants off or something, 'cause she might have stood up to take her pants off, so. Because I'm pretty sure I started out probably just kissing her and then touching her and then, I mean, like removing her shirt and stuff like that. And then her starting to remove her pants and then me starting to pull mine down. And then I remember, like, once she got her pants down to like her ankle, I remember trying to like help her take her sandals off because they, like, I don't know, I guess clipped on the side or something. And she might have stood up to like get the sandals off. Might have went to the bathroom at that point in time.
But if that's the case, when would you have seen the string? If she took it out then?
Well, I would, during touching her and then going down on her.
She still had her pants on and her sandals?
No, I mean, like taking them off, while she's taking her pants off, trying to touch her, but.
So you actually did go down on her for a second before you realized?
Yeah, I went to go down on her, and I think I started, and that might have been where I felt it, or something like that.
Okay.
What did she say?
I don't remember her saying anything about it.
She wasn't really, she was too drunk, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were both pretty drunk.
Okay.
Were her eyes open?
I mean, when we first started, yeah.
And then her eyes closed?
Well, after, I got up, yeah.
Well, during the sex and things like that. Her eyes closed.
Is that what happened and you really didn't have a conversation? You realized that she was passed out?
No, because I remember talking to her.
But that was while you were kissing, I think. Before any of the sex. I think if you had the conversation before you had sex. Or do you specifically remember your penis being inside her while you were talking?
No, I believe I remember like being inside her while we were talking, and then I while we were talking, it just kind of like I just kind of got soft, and at that point in time, I wasn't into it anymore, and I got up.
What did she say to you when you got up?
Oh, I don't know if she said anything. I was more focused on trying to get to the bathroom so I didn't like throw up all over the place. I mean, I don't think she said anything to me.
Did she touch your penis with her hand at any time?
Um, I, I don't I don't think she did. I remember.
Did she ever verbally encourage you at all?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were kind of like while having sex, we were kind of like talking.
What were you saying?
I remember her saying something. I don't remember what she said, but I think she started saying something, and I just remember saying like we probably shouldn't do this. I can't remember what she was saying.
Was she passed out by the time you pulled her penis out of her?
No, she was still awake because like after I went soft, like we were still talking. Like after that, probably like a minute or two, we were still talking after that. And then after I got up, she might have still been talking, but I don't remember her saying anything afterwards.
Okay. So did part of that conversation, did she tell you to stop or tell you no?
No, I know she never told me to stop.
Okay.
I mean, how long does the conversation go on where you say you're married, she says she's married, we shouldn't do this? I mean, that takes 30 seconds. So what else did the conversation entail?
Well, I mean, the conversation didn't last. It only lasted like a minute or two. Like, I don't.
Okay, before that, before you actually start having sex, is she encouraging you, like telling you it feels good or what to do or moving your hand, guiding you at all?
Um, I mean, she was touching me. I mean, she might have took my hand at some point in time, and I mean, had me touch her breasts or something.
Do you feel like you took advantage of her?
No,
Okay.
no, because I feel like it was mutual.
Okay. Do you feel like she had the ability to know what was going on?
Yeah, to some degree, I believe she knew. Well, because when we were walking back, she grabbed my hand, so I guess that's kind of what led me to kind of start going a little bit further. So,
I mean, once you were in the room, do you feel like she was too drunk to know what was really happening?
no, I think she knew what was going on because I think she was, like I said, I think she was kind of involved. I think she was, she was touching me and things like that. So, I think she pretty much knew what was going on.
And what happened the following morning?
Well, my alarm went off, and I knew we had to be at PT, so I was trying to wake her up, and I was like, "Hey, we gotta go." You know, PT's like, it was like in 15 minutes, and I was like, "We gotta go." And she got up. I was like running around trying to get all my stuff ready for PT and try to get dressed and all this stuff, and I ended up throwing up again, like getting up, and I didn't ever see her leave because I was in the bathroom throwing up, and I know she left her sandals, but she probably got dressed and then left, but she left her sandals in my room. Because when I came back with PT, I saw them, they were sitting there beside the bed. And I ended up, I don't really know what she did. I know she never showed up at PT, but I just figured like she didn't make it back to her room, or figured she just didn't get dressed in time, or she wasn't feeling good or something like that. So I didn't really think much of it because I had a headache, so I didn't figure she had enough time to get dressed. So I went to PT, and then I came back and took a shower and got ready for work. Went in, and I didn't see her the whole day. We work in two different shops, so I didn't ever see her the rest of the day while we were at work. And then when I got back, I was like, her sandals are still sitting here. I was like, I'll go return them, because I didn't really think anything about it. To me it was mutual, and it got stopped. So I didn't really think anything about it. So her roommate works in my shop, Rademacher. So I texted her and was like, "Hey, is your roommate there?" I was like, "Her sandals are in the room. I was just going to come up and bring them to her." And she was like, "Well, I'm about to leave," because they were going out again. They were going out that night, her and some others. And I was like, "Well, do you mind if I bring them up there?" And she's like, No. She's like, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't text her and say, "Hey, I'm on my way." So she had already left the room, so I went up there and I knocked on the door and nobody ever came. So I just set the sandals on the little metal part in front of the door and was just kind of like, "Oh, hopefully she'll get them," And I went back down, and at that point in time, I saw Rademacher. I walked over to her and I was like, "Hey, I went up to your room." I was like, "You weren't there?" And she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "You didn't tell me when you were coming down." So I told her, I was like, "Hey, I left the sandals in front of the door." So I went back to my room, and then I think when I got back, I asked my roommate if he wanted to go play pool at the Liberty Center, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Whatever." And so we went over there. I think we were there for maybe an hour and a half. Wasn't long. We only played 3 games of pool. And I came back to the room. I was sitting in there. I was like, "Well, she's probably back there by now. I'll just go up there and apologize to her and just be like, 'Hey, I'm sorry. It shouldn't have went where it did,' And so I went back up there and I knocked on the door, and she came to the door. Well, she was crying and talking to her dad, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm sorry." And she's like, she wasn't really into it. She was like, I can't talk. I'm on the phone with my dad." So I just thought something had went on in her personal life, that something had happened, and she was on the phone with her dad. And so at that point in time, I was just like, "Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you." and I left and she shut the door. And that was the last time. And then I think around like 9 or 10, my roommate got like a text message from somebody that was like, "Hey, Senator McCrane is looking for you guys." And I'm like, "Why is he looking for us?" Because my roommate was like, "Hey, Senator McCrane's looking for us." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I went to the door and I opened it just to kind of look out, and just about the time I opened the door, he was like about to knock on the door, and he was like, at that time he told me, he was like, "I'm just here to tell you that you can't have any more not confrontation, but contact. You can't have any more contact with AZ Carruthers." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, do you know what happened?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Well," and then that was at the point in time that he told me that she had went and talked to somebody and so on and so forth. And then at that point in time he left, and I just went and sat back on the bed.
And what were you thinking? What did you say?
In my thoughts, I was just like, why would she go, like I said, to me, she was into it just as much, and I was like, why would she go say something? And I was like, yeah, some things happen. I was like, but I know it got stopped. And I was like, well, kind of confused why she would say something, because I thought it was more like consensual.
What is the punishment for missing PT? Is there any?
I don't. Right now, it's getting a little stricter. At that point in time, it wasn't like a lot of second classes, a lot of first classes don't really show up. A lot of E5s and above sometimes show up if they want to, things like that. So really, at that point in time, there wasn't too much of a punishment. They started putting out a little bit later on that they were going to kind of start writing people up, but I don't think that kind of ever happened. But I know now they put out like a whole new memo of they got us like certain days. Like I'm supposed to go to PT today, but they know that I'm here and got something else to do, so they know that I probably won't be there. But I know they're starting to give counseling chits the first time you miss it, and then the second time, I think you have to go up and talk to the CO, or I don't know, he does something further or whatever.
But nothing would have happened in El Centro.
No, not in El Centro.
To her, or had you just said, "You know what, we got fucked up last night, we're just not going."
No, because I was like 15 minutes late or whatever, and I saw him one, and so I went up to him, and he was just like, "Oh, make sure you show up on time next time." And then Staff Sergeant First Ed saw me too, and he was like, "Why are you late?" And I'm like, I told him, that I drank and just running behind. He was like, "All right, well, you know that you need to be here always on time, 15 minutes early." And that was, as long as that didn't happen again, that was, as far as it went.
Okay.
What kind of conversations did you have with her roommate in regards to the situation after you found out what she had reported?
I remember talking to her and telling her that I wanted to apologize. And then after I was told that I couldn't talk to her, I was still well, I wish I could go and apologize and let her know that I didn't mean for anything to go as far as it did. But
what would you apologize for, though? I mean, you're both
Just-
equally culpable if you're both married.
Just
Well,
nature. Just the way I am, like, I don't, like, I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but just to make her feel better or something, because I guess she was kind of feeling uncomfortable. And I didn't want, like, something to be, like, weird or anything like that, so it was just more like I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, I apologize that it went as far as it did. I didn't mean for it to happen.
Joe, when we first started, why did you, and it's okay, a lot of people do it, there's a lot of different reasons for it, but why did you lie about having sex with her initially? Because you knew from the next morning, that you had sex with her. It's not like you forgot.
And a lot of it was just like a lot of confusion, a lot of trying to replay it in my head, like if I did something wrong or something like that.
Okay, but you were aware that you were lying to us when we first started.
Well, I mean, I was just trying to recollect like everything that was happening.
I know, but you were aware that you were lying to us when we first started, correct? It's okay, man. I'm not mad at you. I get lied to every day, bro. I'm just trying to understand it.
like, why were you afraid to say that you had sex with her?
To me, I really don't want anybody to get in trouble for this. Like, I don't even, like, they were talking about, like, if I don't have charges, and they were talking about, like, her getting, like, kicked out or something like that, because it's false charges or something. Now, I don't really want that to happen to anybody. I don't want anybody to get kicked out or anybody to get in trouble or anything like that.
So you thought by saying you didn't have sex with her that it would just reduce the risk of anybody getting in trouble for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you're saying from the time we started around 1 o'clock today, did you know before you got here that you were going to deny having sex with her? Had you thought about it? You've been thinking about this every day.
I've just been trying to like recollect like everything that happened to try to remember it, to remember what happened.
But for example, on the way over here, did you think to yourself, when I talked to them today, I'm going to say we didn't have sex?
No. The whole way over here, I'm just, I'm afraid that something's going to happen to somebody, and I don't want anything to happen to anybody, and I don't want to go like too far to like continue to involve everybody's life and continue to mess everything up. I mean, it's already been messed up as it is, and I don't want anything else to get messed up, or I don't want anybody to.
Let me ask you something. If you invite me over to your house, and we're both Georgia boys, so I feel like we have some cultural understanding here. If I'm at your place, you invite me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, hey, there's a bowl of chips on the counter, help yourself, right? Okay, and I eat a few chips, and I leave for an hour, and I come back. I had our errand to run or something.
Mm-hmm.
When I come back, it's still okay to help myself to the chips, right? Because you already told me I could have chips.
Yes.
You understand where I'm going with this? No, not really?
All right.
So your roommate said that you had sex after you came back from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
She had already given you permission to eat her chips. See my point?
Mm-hmm.
She already gave you permission. It was consensual sex, is what you're telling us, before going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since you've been laid. I know you temporarily got out of the mood. I get that. But you're not going to put yourself in a worse situation. The worst possible thing you could do here is lie. I just want you to understand that. So my point in the chip story is, if I came over to your house and said, hey, Mike, don't you dare fucking eat my chips, bro. Those are my wife's, don't eat them. And I do it anyway, then I violated your trust, right? Mm-hmm. But having your permission and leaving your house for an hour, coming back and eating another chip, I'm okay. My point is this. She might have been passed out, sleeping a little bit. She may not have been wide awake, jumping off the walls when you got back from the bathroom. But I think what may have happened, especially considering what your roommate said, is you already had permission to have sex with her. You went to the bathroom. She was ready to go when you came back. Yeah, she might have been dozed off or her eyes shut. But I think you went back at it. Because I can't, for the life of me, understand why your roommate would say you came back from the bathroom and continued having sex. She already gave you permission, so it's not like you violated her. It's not, you know what I mean? I don't think of it that way.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like, in your mind, it was probably an extension of the invitation to have sex, right? An extension of the consensual sex. Same thing as the chip story. It was okay an hour ago to eat chips. You never told me I couldn't have chips, so when I get back, I'm going to have a chip.
You feel better because you just got sick. Your stomach feels better. You
had
feel
it.
Clear.
No? You still felt...
Felt like shit.
She's there, naked, on your bed.
But you felt like shit when you were having sex. Because you puked right after you had sex, so you felt bad while you were having sex, right? So that doesn't mean anything. So we need to wrap this up so we can close this case, bro. That's what I'm asking. I don't want to spend the next month with you stressed out and worried about everything when we can end this in the next hour. You know? If you came back and had sex with her again, thinking that she would wake up or be back into it, that's fine, brother. Just tell us that. But what I don't want you to do is tell me you don't remember, because that's going to be bullshit, bro. I can't buy that. You know? I generally give I have like a 3-lie pass for each person, you know what I mean? I just don't want you to go down that road again, because it just wastes time, you know? I mean, we're going to read it in your face and everything else. We're going to know the truth after this conversation. So let's skip all that bullshit. If you had sex after you got back from the bathroom, just say that. We want to close this thing out as bad as you want to, brother. I just can't imagine that. I try to put myself in your shoes, and it's been a long time since I've had sex. Pretty girl with, again, unusually, large breasts, attractive girl. You already had sex less than 10 minutes ago. And now you come back, she's still ready to go. And, if I try to put myself in your shoes, and I can't say that I wouldn't have done something like that, If I thought that, okay, well, maybe she'll get back into it right away, even if she did doze off for a minute, and her eyes were closed when you got back. I don't know. Maybe you thought by starting the sex again that she would wake up and everything would be cool. You already got past that weirdness of stopping and losing your erection and all that, you know what I mean? That's what we need to know. Because your roommate, I can't imagine why your roommate would say that if it wasn't true. Because obviously, I don't know, he seemed like a decent guy, but I don't know, maybe he's some kind of voyeur or pervert or something. He obviously was watching you guys have sex. Whether he was doing it intentionally or just couldn't sleep, I don't know. Because the polygraph's going to tell us the truth, brother, if nothing else. I mean, I consider myself to be a pretty good, I pick up on lies pretty good, I think, but at the end of the day, a polygraph's better than I am. And a polygraph's going to tell us the truth. So if and when you take a polygraph, it's going to tell us that you had sex. What's bad about that is if you leave here today knowing that you had sex after you came back from the bathroom and you don't admit to it, if you say, no, I didn't have sex, and then we take a polygraph and we do other investigative steps, it's going to make you look like a liar all out, you know what I mean? Yes. I was in the Corps for 10 years, brother, and there is no more important thing than integrity. You know that. You know what I mean? Yes. So I know you're scared to say things. I know you don't want to get people in trouble, yourself, her. But if you had sex with her after you got back from the bathroom, we have to know that. Because that's how we wrap this investigation up and close it up. I don't know if it was right away, you hopped right back in the bed and put it back in her, or maybe you laid down and kind of snuggled behind her and kind of spooned her, you know what I mean by that? Kind of laid behind her and put it in her. Either way, I don't remember what the roommate said about how you were positioned. It really doesn't matter. The point is, I believe you had sex after the bathroom. You smoke, bro? No. Okay. You need a glass of water or hit the head?
No.
Okay. You know what that hand motion tells me? You did the same thing then when you were considering if you were going to talk about the sex earlier. That's Joe's way of deciding which path to take. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to recollect.
Nah, it's a little more than that, bro. You know whether you had sex with her or not. I know it's tough to decide whether you want to talk about that. It's important, brother, because we're going to find out one way or the other at the end of the day. And I don't want for the next 6 months of your life to be stressed out about this, you know? Worrying every day is what's going to happen about this. When we can finish what needs to be done today with you.
I can understand what you're saying.
Okay. Your options are yes or no, but to tell me you don't remember is just not an option, to be honest with you. Because you do remember, if you did or you didn't, you know. But your roommate sure as hell remembers. Let's keep on here.
You're like lying right on me.
Sorry, is that distracting? 3 more times. 1, 2, and 3. What are people calling me? Oh. One second. Joe, it's hard to have sex and not ejaculate, hard to finish, you know what I mean? Even if you were feeling like shit, every dude wants to finish, you know what I mean? I'm not saying you did that night, I don't know.
See, I don't remember finishing.
Right.
I might have came back in there and got back under the covers and got behind her.
Okay.
I don't remember getting back on top of her again.
Right.
But I might have rolled back over.
So at what point did you put your penis back in her? That's all I need to know, brother. How much time passed from coming back to the bathroom to putting it back in her?
Probably wouldn't have been long.
Okay.
Probably like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. How did you get your erection back? Or you didn't still have it, right?
No.
Okay. Just by snuggling up behind her, you got it back, or?
No. I think I came in there. I laid down.
Right.
And probably started touching her breasts again,
Okay.
just touching her.
Right.
You
Getting
know.
aroused, right?
Right, and then 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Okay.
Probably started having sex.
Okay. And she was out at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you play with her breasts a little bit. She's out. Now you're behind her in a spoon position. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then you pulled your sweatpants back down, or?
Yes.
Okay. And then inserted again, right?
Yes.
And she was still out at that point. Were you hoping that she would wake up or get back into it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, were you watching? No, probably not.
No.
So, he did come back from the bathroom to get his erection back, played with her breasts some, got in a spoon position behind her, and after you got your erection back, put it back in her vagina, right? Her penis?
Yes.
How long did that last? You said you don't remember ejaculating, right?
Yes, sir. Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. You sure you didn't finish, bro? Because I know you were kind of drunk, but...
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Okay. Was that because she was out and she wouldn't get into it?
Probably because I was drunk.
Okay.
Like most of the time, like sometimes I drink at home with my wife, and most of the time when I drink, I don't really ever. I guess because you get so like hot and whatnot,
Okay.
I can't.
Finish. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, did you just give up eventually? Because she wasn't waking up or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And what was her body position?
It would have been rolled over towards the wall, like her face towards the wall, like me behind her.
Mm-hmm. And at no,
Her on her side and you on your side?
Yeah.
and at no point in time did she move or wake up?
No.
From the time you left and went to the bathroom and came back?
Yeah. She didn't ever wake back up.
Okay. And when you finished or you just gave up, what happened?
I either went back to sleep or I might have went to the bathroom and just like grabbed like a rag or something to try to wipe myself off.
Yeah. Was she bleeding? I mean, when you went to the bathroom, did you have some blood on your penis?
I might have.
Okay. All right.
And what did you do with the tampon?
I would not touch it.
You
So
didn't
it's
ever
still-
see one?
I didn't. I mean, like I saw one while we were having sex, or while we were like getting all
The
taking
string?
pants off and stuff like that.
Just the string, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, there was an instance where she was like standing up, like after her pants were like, she got one. I think she got like one leg out, but she couldn't get the other one or something, and she was trying to like get it. I think at that point in time she stood up, and she might have went to the bathroom at that point in time.
Okay.
But I mean, I wouldn't.
Right.
That's
You know you had sex with her twice with a tampon inside her, right?
no.
Did you know that? Yeah. Because it was shoved up inside her. How big is your penis, if you don't mind me asking?
Um,
6, 7 inches wide?
I mean, like this big.
Okay. All right. Okay, so just to review.
Well, I still have another question. The next morning, you have white sheets, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And agents came in and seized your sheets the next day or whatnot. Was there blood or anything that you noticed?
I don't know. I was involved trying to get to PT so I wouldn't be like extremely late.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, after I left for PT, I came back and showered, but I didn't notice any blood anywhere.
Did you?
I mean, I didn't really like. No, I didn't like really look back at my bed to like. I didn't make it because they have like cleaning ladies that come around. So I didn't really like worry about making it. I was just trying to get back and get to work.
Mm-hmm. And you said she was there when you woke up?
And she was there when, I mean, we both, like, because I woke her up. Because I was like, hey, we got to go to PT, come on. Mm-hmm. You know. And then, like I said, like, I went back into the bathroom to throw up again. And when I came back, she was gone. So I didn't think that.
What I don't understand though is why you got up after sex the second time to wipe off. I mean, what are you wiping off if you didn't ejaculate?
Her.
Well, like her wetness.
Right.
And you didn't just fall back asleep?
Well, like, after I went back in there.
So the second time you went to the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you didn't ejaculate?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so to recap, you were flirting with her at the bar, willingly, both of you.
Oh, wait, before I forget,
Yeah.
man, sorry. Did she ask you the next morning before PT, did you have sex? Did she ask you anything like that?
No, I don't remember her saying anything. I don't remember her asking.
Okay.
As far as I remember her getting up and me being like, hey, we gotta go to PT, let's go. You know, we gotta go, just trying to like speed up so I can get dressed and get ready and go. So I don't.
Okay. She didn't have time to really discuss anything.
Yeah, I was.
Do you know the emotion that you displayed to us earlier when we asked you about having sex with her while she was asleep or unconscious? Do you remember that? You sat forward in your chair and you said that the thought of that really bothers you. Do you know what that emotion was on your face? It was shame. You feel ashamed for what you did, don't you?
Okay.
Good. All right. I appreciate your honesty. Go ahead with the recap. I'm sorry.
So you're at the bar, you know, both of you mutually flirting, drinking, start to walk back, it's just you two. She grabs your hand, and that's when you decide to kind of lead her to your room. You enter your room, immediately kissing her, removing clothing, etc. You start the process of sex, essentially. She removes her pants. She assists you in removing her pants, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so she's active. You are mutually connecting with one another. Okay, start to have sex, and at some point in time you have a conversation where you talk about both being married and feeling guilty about what you guys are doing.
Yes.
Correct? You get up from the bed, you go to the bathroom, you get sick. You come back and she's passed out.
Yes, ma'am.
She's sleeping, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You decide at some point to feel her up again and roll her over and enter her from behind, essentially, like in the spoon position,
Yes,
for approximately 10 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing occurs, you don't ejaculate, she doesn't wake up, she's still sleeping. You remove your penis from her, you go to the bathroom, you clean yourself up, and you come back and you go to sleep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the next morning you wake up and she doesn't say anything to you, you don't say anything to her about the night before, you just worry about PT.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At no point in time do you guys talk about your relations together until you see her at the door when you try to find out if she got her shoes back. Is that correct?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking you were saying I gave her the shoes back.
No. When you went back the second time and
yes,
to her room and she's on the phone with her dad.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You didn't have any idea what she was talking about that with her father?
No, man, she was just like, I'm talking to my dad, I gotta go. And I was like, I didn't want to like force anything, you know, she was busy, I don't want to intrude.
Mm-hmm.
Figured she might have, like I said, I had some family problems or something, I didn't want
So at no
to
point
intrude.
in the back of your mind did you think, oh shit, she knows what happened?
No.
You didn't think anything wrong with what you had done?
No, because I thought it was like consensual, you know, I thought it was like both of us, so I didn't really think anything like bad, like we had done anything wrong.
Even though you know she was passed out and sleeping when you had sex with her the second time?
I guess I thought she would like wake back up.
discussed earlier, you were just under the impression that because she had said yes, 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 yes the entire time. And then when he
I
came
mean, I thought
back,
she had just kind of probably rolled over, and she would probably just, wake back up after, like, I started touching her, and then after I realized she's not gonna wake up, then.
But that was 10 minutes later. So you were touching her and you inserted your penis into her vagina while she was asleep.
I'm just trying to give like an approximate time. I mean.
Okay, 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
5, yeah.
Nonetheless, she was still asleep and your penis was in her.
Yeah.
And she never woke up.
No.
Okay. And you went to the bathroom, you came back down, and she was still asleep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously this whole thing came about. Did you tell anybody else about what had happened? That you had sex with her?
Well, I mean, a lot of people were like asking. Lieutenant Colonel come down and talk to me.
Jakubowski.
Yeah. Staff Sergeant First Seth. Like they told me like that day the NCIS, the 2 guys came and they told me about searching my room and stuff like that, and they had me sign that piece of paper saying that I volunteered or whatever. So Staff Sergeant First Seth like hung out with me for the rest of the night, because it wasn't until like I think it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when they actually like went into my room.
Mm-hmm.
So because since I couldn't go back, he hung out with me like until he even went at him, and when we got back, because Senior McCrane just told us, he told Staff Sergeant just to watch me and just keep me in line and stuff like that, and make sure I got some food and whatnot, and that he would call when they were ready to go into my room, and that I would come back because I guess I had to be there or something.
Mm-hmm.
So Staff Sergeant, he went and got me something to eat, and then we went and chilled out at the Liberty Center on base, and then I think we went back to like his room afterwards, or they might have called at that point in time and told me they were ready to like search my room. So we went back, and at that point in time, Senior McCrane showed back up, and we just stood outside while they went in and did whatever they had to do.
Okay. Who did you tell that you actually had sex with? Critters.
I think I told Staff Sergeant First Seth.
Anybody else?
AM1 Norris. I think I said something to him. And I think Senior McCrane
When did you tell
came
them?
up to me the next day.
Before or after NCIS had come and searched you?
Oh, before, like when I went in. Like when I went in that morning, AM1 was in the smoke pit. And then, like I said, Senior McCrane came to the shop afterwards. And Staff Sergeant wasn't until like later on that night when he went and got me some food. Me and him were just talking back and forth.
Did you tell anybody else?
I told my wife.
That you had sex with her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what did she say?
I mean, she, freaked out. She didn't really say much.
Are you sure you told your wife you had sex, or you told her that y'all just kissed and you stopped it?
No, I called her. I was on the phone. Um, I, I'm almost sure I told her that we started and then it stopped.
Okay. So you didn't tell her you had sex?
No, I mean, like, we started having sex and then it stopped,
Oh.
is what I'm saying.
And she didn't leave you?
No.
You're a lucky man. Anybody else?
Uh, I don't, I don't think I told anybody else. It's the only people I remember talking to.
Joe, back to the shame thing. What do you feel shameful about exactly?
Letting it happen. Letting it go. Let anything that started.
Is that because you're
nothing-
married?
Well, not just because I'm married, because, I mean, I guess most people, like you said, I mean, I should be thankful, but I mean, most people would look at it as like, I mean, I did it, so I probably really don't care. I'm sure that's like the look because something happened, but I mean, I actually do care, and like, you know, me and my wife have been working it out, and you know, just been taking it day by day, going on, you know, trying to just kind of forget about anything ever happening. So
Let me ask you this. When you came back from the bathroom and you started messing with her breast some, right? Was that to check to see if she was going to wake up? Or was that just for the only to make yourself aroused again?
well, I was trying to get her to wake back up, and
Okay. But she never did. She didn't even ever do anything. And then when you put your penis back inside her, the sex lasted about 10 minutes more, you said? Give or take.
5 or 10. I don't think it was really that long.
And then when you stopped, she was still completely unconscious. Did you feel like you were doing something wrong at the time?
Not at the time, because I mean, I felt like it was consensual. You know,
You mean before? Or at that time you felt like the whole night was
the
consensual?
whole night.
Okay. How about since then? Do you feel like you've done something wrong now?
I mean, I feel like I've done something wrong in a sense, like to my wife, you know, because you know she trusts me, and
Legally speaking, do you feel like you've violated the law?
no, sir.
Okay. All right. What do you think should happen to you?
I don't know.
Here's what I don't understand, though. You told four people? 4 people, right? That you had sex the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you come here, and for the first, hour, give or take,
And tell us
you denied having sex at all. I don't get that. Why would you tell 4 people you had sex the day after, and then come here like 2 months later and say you didn't have sex? I don't
Unless
understand.
you knew you did something wrong.
Because if I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, I'd tell anybody to ask me. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're married, and that's you feel like you violated your wife's trust, of course. But as far as your career goes and things like that, I mean, especially NCIS, if I were in your shoes, I'd be like, well, yeah, we had sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes me
I
feel
just
like
didn't think about like telling other people. And like I said, I don't even want her. I mean, like, not that. I mean, it's all on me. even the stuff like that I've heard about, like if this goes the other way or whatever, her getting in trouble, like I mean, to me, I just want it to end and her keep doing her job and living her life, and me keep doing my job. And
How much time passed between the first sex when you pulled out of her and putting it back in her, approximately?
like 10 or 15 minutes, because I was throwing up. And
Went to the bathroom,
I was throwing up.
come back, messing with her breasts, get an erection, so 10 or 15 minutes. Do you understand that even if you had sex earlier, that a different episode of sex is a different episode? You get that, right? Like, no. So to you, because it started off consensual, then the whole night was consensual. That's what you're saying. Okay. All right.
You don't view her passing out or going to sleep and or rolling over as ending your altercation with her?
Well, I mean, I look at it as like it wasn't a lot of time. So like I said, I mean, I just figured she would wake back up. Like, I figured once I started like rubbing on her and things like that, that she would wake back up.
Okay. Why did you eventually stop, though? Was it because she never woke up, or was it because you couldn't ejaculate?
Because she didn't wake back up, so.
Okay.
So what were your purposes then of initiating it? To get her in the mood? To get yourself in the mood?
I guess just to continue or to, I guess, try to finish, I guess. I mean, like, to...
So you wanted to ejaculate, basically. That was your goal, right?
Well, I mean, and maybe her too.
Okay.
Well, like he asked you earlier, what do you think should happen to you? Do you think you should be punished for this?
I guess it might be like a 50-50 to like kind of, but kind of not. I mean, it's already been a lot on everybody, like as it is, just with lives, and when she's married, I'm married, and just to kind of, I mean, because that, like, I mean, my wife was like, when I told her Monday, she was like happy that, you know, it was all over, you know, and everything was fine. So, I mean, you know, that's kind of the view, you know, I mean, but, you know, I don't really know, like, punishments or anything like that.
Well, you say 50-50, what do you think you should get in trouble for?
Well, I mean, something did happen, I mean, between both of us, so, in a sense, I mean, that's wrong. I mean, nothing should have ever happened. So, I mean, since something did happen in a way, then, I mean, I guess there should be something for something happening. But
Do you think you should get in trouble for having any sort of contact with her at all? Whether it was the first episode before you went to the bathroom or the second one? Or do you think you should get in trouble for the second episode where she was asleep and you're trying to have sex with her?
I mean, I would say
Right.
both.
Having sex.
Yeah, having sex with her.
I would say both, because I mean, either way, neither one of them should have never even went that far.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So both of them were like.
Should you get in trouble for the adultery, or should you get in trouble for being a sexual predator?
I would probably more say the adultery, because I mean, like I said, I mean, to me it was consensual. So I mean, she was involved, I was involved. So I don't really look at it as like the sexual side.
There's one more little issue. Your roommate, you guys were whispering, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to be quiet for your roommate's sake, of course. But your roommate remembers her saying something like, I don't want to do this, while you were having sex with her. Okay, had she said, I don't want to do this, and then you put it in her anyway, that's a big problem, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if she says, I don't want to do this, and then you stop, then that's okay. I mean, how were you to know, right?
No.
So is that what happened?
That was probably the conversation, because I remember a conversation going on. But I remember saying, she told me something, and that might have been what she told me.
Might have been. Joe, you remember, you don't, maybe not down to the very word, but
right.
you remember.
That's what I'm saying. I remember the very words that she said.
She
know
was it stop? Or was it, I don't want to do this?
I think she might have said, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
So
you stopped having sex right then?
Right.
And then, not too long after that, you went to the bathroom, threw up, came back, and that's when you reinitiated and put it back in.
Right. I thought maybe she might, I guess, want to start again, but then
she never woke up, so.
I just stopped. Then
You think you should be labeled as a sexual predator?
no, I don't think so. I know this happened, but I don't like go around like stalking people, or I don't go around talking to girls trying to get them to like have sex with me or anything like that. Like now, I just try to stay away from like all the females that I'm even around.
Is that because you cheated 3 times on 2 different people?
You don't trust yourself, maybe?
I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself. Like I don't want to be involved in anything like that. So I don't trust myself enough to be around something. So if I take myself out of it, then that kind of eliminates the possibility of something ever happening.
Were you frustrated or a little bit angry? I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, because she grabbed your hand, she's flirting with you, right? You go back to the room, you start having sex, and she changes her mind, right? When you get up and go to the bathroom, you had to be feeling very frustrated, maybe a little bit angry, right? Like, that's fucked up that she would do all this, come back to my room, and then she shuts me down before I even have a chance to finish, you know? It's okay if you were, bro. I mean, it would be normal, you know?
I mean, I might have thought it might have been a little weird or something. I don't know if I was necessarily like mad at her. I mean, if she doesn't want to do anything, I mean, it's her choice.
If she didn't want to do anything, then she damn well never should have flirted with you and held your hand and come back to your fucking room.
Well,
So, be real, man. A little weird. It goes a little bit beyond that. You were a little pissed. That's a cock tease, bro. Am I wrong?
well, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's teasing. I mean, doing something, making somebody believe that you want this, and then, but, I mean, it's her choice. I mean, if she thought she wanted something, and then something got started and she didn't, then, I mean, it's...
So, in between stopping and starting again, at what point in your mind were you like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to get mine anyway? This is fucked up.
Well, I probably just thought it was like, maybe, maybe something wasn't right or something. So, tried to start again, and then nothing was there, so I was just like, so I stopped.
Yeah, but you didn't answer my question. At what point did you think, in between having sex the first time and second time, you know what, not exactly maybe, but this is fucked up. She led me on. She got me all ready to go. We even had sex. She didn't let me finish. It's fucked up. I'm gonna finish. I know that thought went through your mind. I mean, you're a man, dude. Maybe not with your wife or somebody you love. Like, if that had happened with your wife, you'd probably be like, well, that's okay, maybe next time. Because you love her, you know what I mean? You don't love this chick. You don't even know her. You know what I mean? There had to be some anger there. So I'm like, this is fucked up. You might not have started screaming and running around the room, but you were thinking it, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to harm anyone.
No, I'm not talking about beating her ass or anything. I'm just talking about, hey, this is sexual frustration. Hey, this is fucked up. She led me on. We started having sex. She shut me down. I'm gonna finish. You know what I mean? There's that look again. You feel shame for having those thoughts, right? But it's normal. It's normal, brother. Nothing to be ashamed about having emotions. You're a southern boy for starters, which means culturally speaking, you're pretty traditional, you know what I mean, compared to a lot of the United States. Number two, how long you been in the Corps now?
A year and a couple months.
It's been shoved down your throat that you're the fucking man of all men, you know what I mean? You are the fucking elite, am I wrong? It's been shoved down your throat for the last year. You're a fucking warrior. You're a man. You're primal, you know what I mean? You can't tell me you didn't have those emotions. And I can see in your face you had those emotions, but you felt guilt for it. Or you're feeling guilt
Yeah,
for
but
it
in the
now.
Marine Corps sense, I don't believe that. I mean, yeah, they're like the first to go, but I don't completely believe that. I mean, everybody serves their part. I mean, even the Army, to me, I mean, it's still all pretty equal.
I agree with you.
I'm just a guy.
I agree with you. But you're a man. That's my point, is you had these type of thoughts or feelings that night when she shut you down. And when we talk about that and you think about it, I can see the guilt or the shame in your face because you feel like those feelings were wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I have shame because something happened.
Yeah, that too. But you had those feelings.
Shame.
You were pissed off, right? How could you not be pissed off not having sex for a long time and she led you on all night? You start having sex, she tells you to stop or says, I don't want to do this. How could you not be frustrated or a little pissed off? I don't get it.
Because, I mean, it wasn't that important. It wasn't, it's not like it didn't mean anything.
It was important enough for you to try again, to put it in her while she was sleeping, right?
Well, that's just because I thought she would be into it.
Okay. All right. So you're denying having any feelings of anger or being pissed off at all?
I mean, during that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't remember having any feelings of being mad.
Okay. Frustrated?
I mean, I would say frustrated. I wouldn't say like angry at somebody.
Right.
I mean, frustrated that, I was led on, and nothing happened, but I wouldn't like mad at her.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, thank you for your time and coming in and talking to us. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we end this? To us, to...
You're not allowed to see her, right?
Yes.
You have an NPO that...
That's all that I've ever heard so far. Like when you were talking about what they told me,
Right.
that's all I go up and sign on like every 30 days.
Okay.
And that's all I've heard so far.
Okay.
Like,
Which means you probably won't ever have an opportunity to talk to her about this, right?
Well, to me, which is in a way fine. I mean, like I would like to be able to say, I wish, like to be able to be like, I wish nothing had ever happened.
Here's your opportunity. If you have anything you'd like to say to her, we can make sure that she has that opportunity to see. This is you're on video.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anything you want to say to her or anything like that, feel free. We'll give you a minute.
I'm sorry that anything ever went as far as it did. apologize. It's bad judgment, and it never should have happened. And I will hate myself every day because I love myself. I want my morals down. I want my standards down.
Joe, this is the first time since we've been in here, bro, that you've really let your real emotions out about this, okay? Which gives me an opportunity to tell you, talk to you about something. You had a shit ton of training since you've been in the Marine Corps on sexual assault and rape and all that, correct? And you're no dummy, clearly. You're a smart guy. You knew, you may not have put a lot of thought into it that night, but you knew before that night, and you know it. You know that having sex with someone that's unconscious is illegal. Am I right? You have a shit ton of training about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew prior to that day. I know you were hoping that she would get back into it, you know what I mean, and everything would work out. But you knew before you had sex with her the second time that you were committing an offense. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, I didn't really think she was like that far. I didn't really think she was like completely like unconscious at the time. That's why I thought that she would wake back up. I thought she just kind of rolled over and started to go to sleep.
Mm.
So,
Joe, we're backtracking here, brother. Are you telling me that you think that you thought at that time she was partially conscious?
I mean, I'd only been in there like 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
So, I mean, I thought, that's what I was saying, I thought she was still probably maybe a little bit awake to where, that's why I started again, to where she would wake back up. And that's why I stopped, is because she didn't, so
before you put it inside of her the second time, am I wrong in saying that you knew that you were going against all the training you've received, again, about sexual assault?
Well, I mean, I thought, you know, if I went like so far that, you know, she would probably just like wake back up and, I mean, it would be, you know, it would be alright, you know.
But you're not answering my question directly. All the training you received and your understanding of the law and the UCMJ, you knew before having sex with her the second time that you were violating that.
Well, not if she's awake.
But we've said 18, 20 times that she wasn't awake. You knew she wasn't awake. Now you're trying to backtrack a little bit. I understand that because now the fear factor's kicking back in, like you know, somebody's out to get you or something. I just need the truth, brother. You've already told us like 15 times that she was unconscious. She was out when you started having sex the second time. So don't go back and say that you thought she was partially awake, because that's not true. Is it?
But I said I realized that she was like asleep or unconscious.
Before you started having sex with her. Because you played with her breast for 2 or 3 minutes to get yourself erect. Had she been awake or a little bit awake, she would have woken up, right? By the time you put your penis back in her vagina, you knew that she was out. That's what you said earlier. And that's the truth, right?
Oh no, I thought she would wake back up.
Right.
But she was sleeping when you put your penis in her the second time.
Well, I mean, like, I thought she was just kind of started to go to sleep. I mean, like, her
in other
eyes
words, she hadn't been sleeping for 4 hours, so
right.
It was
That's what. Yeah.
light sleep.
Yeah.
So you thought by having sex with her, she would wake back up.
Yeah.
But you knew that having sex with an unconscious or asleep person went against all the training you had ever received, right?
Well, I mean, I do. Like, at that point in time, I mean, it didn't like.
The UCMJ is not going through your mind while you're doing it, I'm sure.
Okay, let me ask you this then. The next day you wake up, you're trying to recollect everything that happened. Run it through your mind now. I'm sure 100 times just in the one day. You've had 2 months to think about this. How many times did you stop and think, I went against all this training that I've had? What is it, annual training? It's probably once a month anymore.
No, it's like I think it's once a year, maybe 6 months.
Okay. So you've been in the Marine Corps, what, a year and a half? So you've had at least 3 times? If not more.
Pensacola, they drilled it into you, I'm sure, several times, right?
I mean, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month now, so I know you've heard it now.
They haven't done anything on it in the command. Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen the signs. They have signs.
Signs. Besides the point, it's been 2 months since this occurred. You must have been sitting there at some point in time thinking in your mind, I assaulted this lady. I went against everything that I know.
I mean,
Against her will.
I mean, I think about it like all the time. Like, did I do something wrong? Like, what did I do wrong? Or, I mean, it's not ever crossed my mind about like being like asleep or unconscious. I mean, I don't remember a lot about the training because, I mean, like going through boot camp, going through MCT. Like I remember having the training in MCT. I remember, kind of sitting there but being half asleep because you're up for so long, things like that. So, and they are trying to push you through it and push you through it. So everything's so quick. You're just trying to make sure you get day by day and make sure you get out of this. So I mean, like I don't remember I know about the drinking part, like about like it has to be consensual, but I mean not the I think I guess I remember I'm saying something about maybe being asleep, but I mean, like I said, it's just like so much training, like through boot camp and like MCT and then school. It's just, I mean, when you get to school, you can kind of relax a little bit and it's not so bad.
All right, let's forget the training. Let's just talk about your morals, which you just expressed on camera. You got pretty emotional about that, right? We're not just talking about cheating on your wife here. It goes beyond that for you. I can tell it does. Just as a human being, I don't care if you had sex 80 times with this chick. If she's asleep or unconscious, doesn't that violate your morals to put your penis inside her?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That's why when I said, like when you said something about it, that's why I said that would be kind of weird. I mean, that's why I thought, like after that small time frame, that she was probably still a little bit awake. I mean, it's probably, sometimes when you lay down in the bed, it takes a few minutes or so to fall asleep. Some people don't necessarily fall asleep right as soon as they hit the pillow.
Okay. But she made no response when you were playing with her breast. Nothing. She was out, like you said earlier, right?
Yeah, I mean,
she didn't.
She was
right. She didn't touch you. She wasn't talking. Her eyes weren't open, and then you put your penis in her, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now here's a question for you. Put yourself in her shoes. Imagine you had given somebody else consent to have sex with you, and you wake up and or not even wake up, and you know that they've got on top of you. You have an erection somehow. Would you feel violated?
If they didn't stop, then I mean, yeah. I mean, if they just kept going and going and going, that would, yeah, I would. But if they realized that, hey, I'm not awake or something, and they quit, then no, I wouldn't. I probably think it might be a little weird or a little out of the ordinary, but I don't think I would.
So you're saying what you did to her was a little weird and out of the ordinary?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, her being, I guess, awake or asleep, her being like that, I mean, yeah, it might have been a little weird, kind of trying to start it back up, but realizing she was asleep and stopping, you realize, hey, she's not awake, you shouldn't do this.
When she said, and I know you can't tell me exactly what she said, when she said, I don't want to do this, or stop, or whatever she said, right? You stopped having sex. But earlier, when you were talking about that, you use your hands a lot in conversation. I don't know if you realize that.
Mm-hmm.
But you made a little gesture like this, okay? She put her hands on your chest and gave you a little nudge and said, I don't want to do this, or stop, correct? That's when you stopped.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Because you're acting out her emotions with your hands. Is that correct? So my point is that it was very clear to you that she wanted you to stop having sex with her. That's why you stopped, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you're not a rapist, you don't get off on the power trip of raping people, I hope. I don't think you do. So if she puts her hands on your chest, that's pretty clear. And then says, hey, I don't want to do this, or stop. Yeah, you stopped, but your erection's going like that because you don't want to have sex with somebody that doesn't want to have sex. You know what I mean? Like, if you're actively having sex and you realize that she's not into it anymore, that's a turnoff for most men, unless you're a rapist or something's screwed up in your head, you know?
Yes, sir.
So you agree that when she said, I don't want to do this, or stop, or whatever it was very clear to you that she didn't want to have sex anymore. Right? That's why you stopped.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Do you have anything additional to add?
Anything else?
Okay.
Offer a statement?
You have, I guess, two options now. Obviously, you know that this is recorded, and we have to somehow document this interview. So you can either, one, write a sworn statement, or I can just use the audio and video recording and write my own report. It's up to you. Obviously, it's 15:32. So another statement, you'll be here for about another hour and a half or so. And otherwise the report, we can let you go and we can type that on our own. But it's completely up to you what you want to do.
It'd probably be easier, like I'm not really good at writing. My sentences probably would make a bit of sense to anyone.
Okay.
So it'd probably be easier if y'all just,
Okay.
Write it on our own. Okay.
terrible grammar.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, like we said, this is audio and video recorded, so we have everything documented. But,
You can do prints on us and go to state.
yeah. I just need to take some fingerprints and some photographs and get a couple of DNA swabs. Okay.
You want to hit the head while you're waiting?